So I'm on my way to Andy Hateley, who lives really close to Brian. Andy Hateley is very well known for the orange E30 that he ran in Formula Drift, and now he's building a new E46. He has some parts that I made on that car, so we're supporting him. Super nice guy, and go check out his place. And of course you guys are coming with me. Hey, how are you? Nice little elf.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, are you out of bees? So this is super nice to finally be here. I've been following Andy for a long time, actually since he built the E30, which everybody in Europe considered to be like the sickest E30 ever made. Really nice car. And the good thing about this thing, or like the weird thing, is that he still runs the E30 rear axle, and in Europe everybody who ran E30s converted it to E39 axles, but this man didn't. Kept fighting the good fight with...
I'm stupid.
No, well, and it's probably not allowed.
Well, it's the rules, yeah.
Yeah.
Allowed, yeah.
So in Europe there was a couple of guys, especially in Poland, who had really sick E30s, who were really winning stuff, but they're all gone now. But you're building a new beast, which is an E46, which is of course the most sensible thing you can do in the entire world.
Yeah, especially when you're on E30, because half the parts just transfer over. I mean, literally all the front suspension is all the same.
That's incredible, isn't it?
It's all the same stuff. I use the same radiator out of the E30, the same fuel cell out of the E30. So a lot of the parts just sort of, I can switch between the cars and stuff like that.
Right. And what I gathered from following you is that you made this car in a way that you could transfer all the fabrication stuff easily to, if you would crash this car, to the next E46
Yeah,
chassis.
pretty much. Yeah, I tried to make everything sort of as modular as possible.
Right.
Even like the fuel cell, it does require that we weld the fuel cells to the chassis, but I mounted it up on tubes so that you know, if need be, I can cut those tubes and weld them to a new chassis, so I don't have to remake my whole fuel cell mount. All the radiator mount stuff is all bolt-on. It bolts on to two little tabs that I welded right onto the frame rail, so I could literally drop that radiator in any car, bolt on a couple tabs, and just weld it right in place.
Because that's like the next step, because I didn't think of that, to be honest. Like my black car is like super insane amount of hours. I mean, well, this is also not...
I mean, for the most part, if the car is that far gone, you know, there's a chance that a lot of the stuff that I made back here for the radiator might not be replaceable, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's just like if you can.
But yeah, I wanted to make it as modular as possible, pretty much.
And it may also be a rule change thing, so if some weird rule change comes up, you'll not be able to modify the car, that you'll be able to transfer everything.
Yeah, and like you're working with the 5-minute rule, so like everything you want to make easy, accessible. I get my dash out in under 2 minutes, so I can access everything behind the dash.
But for me, that is super important. Like, as you know, none of my cars has a full dash, and that's because of that. Because so many times I've seen guys like...
they just changed the dash rule actually too for Formula Drift, because those people running...
I saw that.
A couple guys running like S13 dashes and E46s and stuff like that, and they're running like E36 dashes and E46, you know, vice versa, S14 dash and an S15. So now they changed it. You have to have the dash for your car from the year specifically of that car. So thankfully I got the HGK.
Yeah, that's nice. Did you modify much on the tunnel, like, or it's just the first part?
No, I mean I did. There was some cutting involved, but it wasn't a whole lot. You can see the box structure in here. It really was just for
the bell or reaching the bolts.
The top, basically this part, which is actually worse than what I had. I had a different shifter set up on my old transmission, so I had the old school setup that was...
Yeah, the side shift, or...
Well, no, it was a top shift, but it was like the side shift with the 3 linkages.
Ah, yeah.
So that was actually lower than this. It didn't have this big box there, so...
Right.
I'm confident if I would have had just the linkages, I probably wouldn't have had to modify the tunnel at all.
And a lot of people ask, like, how is it possible that the GSR is so much more expensive than the G101? But until you see the shifter mechanism, I have the side shift in the black car. Super happy with that. But that's also like, there's a lot of upgrades. So a lot of people think like NASCAR dog boxes. They're all the same, but there's so much more difference between them. It's like the same as difference between crate engines. Like one LS crate engine is going to be a lot different than the other one, and yeah, so that's kind of how it works. But it's nice, man. You got my mount over here, I see. That's pretty cool. Cool that it's making it all the way down to California.
I decided to go solid on the bushing just because of the I'm doing the front plate engine mounts on the front of the engine.
Right.
So I put the rubber one on there, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to put a whole lot of stress on those, so I went with a solid aluminum bushing for it.
Well, this is an amazing motor, of course. Yeah. Is that Rix? Is that RTS?
Yeah, those are RTS. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's
those
cool.
are nice.
That's a Sigma. What power level are you going to be running on this?
This one we just dynoed it last week. It made 950. Just the engine itself with 2-inch headers, and I'm running 1 7/8 headers. So.
Right.
And then drivetrain loss, all that. But I mean, we're running the 255. So if I 7 is fine with me. Anything above 657,
sure.
Like it's.
But it's also the character of the motor is going to be really sick.
Yeah. And I mean, I drove that S14 this year, and we did great.
I saw that, yeah.
I mean, we did great because the shifting, we had a T56 in there that had some shifting issues as well. But I mean, we qualified 8th and 10th, and that was on a 255 with 500-ish horsepower, T56, welded S13 diff. Like, you don't need a great car to get out there and do it.
No.
You just, I mean, the issue that I had is the transmit the T56 in that car. If it was
right.
like a brand new T56.
Yeah, but they don't like they don't like shifting on high revs. Like if you're over $6,000 and you're shifting it, it's unlikely.
It happened in Florida as it did in Jersey. I just got dished off the line, and we put down good lead runs though.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw you were killing it with a car that you didn't know. That's nice.
Yeah.
I love this motor. It's like what I would run. It's like what I always tell people, like the Magnuson supercharged. And aftermarket block would obviously be a good thing. Like that's what I would run. And this is like basically the most sensible option. I mean, Chelsea's motor, obviously that stuff is sick, but it's like a 60, 70 grand motor. Yeah. And you need like the whole crew and stuff. And it's like incredible that
you could build this without sponsorship for 25 grand probably.
Which is insane if you think about it.
30, like, I mean, that's putting it together and all that, probably, maybe it'd be in that range for sure. Yeah, I mean, aftermarket LS blocks, you can pick up an RHS block. I think they're like 5 or 6 grand or something like that. And then, heads and pistons and
it's incredible. Yeah.
It adds up, but
yeah, but like the R&D, like if you do any other motor, I mean, like the problem is the RPMs, and if you are really above 700. So there's a lot of people that say like my car is 800-900, and then I'm like, it doesn't look like it, and most of the FD cars you really see that they're really ridiculously fast, and it's like it's real power.
Yep.
So great to visit another FD driver, guy that's been around for a long time, makes really nice stuff and thinks alike about many things. So we'll keep you posted and keep you updated with all the stuff that Andy is doing, and hopefully see his E46 really, really quick on the tracks at Formula Drift.